I'm Lawrence.
And I'm Erin, and this is
Beyond the Journal.
Wow, every time?
Every time.
Wow. Okay, so this is Beyond the Journal, and here we talk about New York City basketball, community, culture, love, life.
Everything from the government to the grocery store.
That's right, and there's only one place you can hear it.
Beyond the Journal.
Wow, really?
I like that one better.
Okay, can we just start the show, please?
Welcome to Beyond the Journal.
And we have an intro, y'all.
Yes.
Woo!
How'd y'all like that intro? I like that intro, man. And not only do we have an intro, Erin, what else do we have?
We have the most specialist guest ever. One of my most favorite humans on the planet, Ken Stevens from Dyckman, my home away from home. Well, hopefully, again soon, my home away from home during the summer. Ken Stevens is in the studio.
Yeah.
Give it up.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yes.
Appreciate you guys. Guys are doing a beautiful job.
Oh,
thank you.
Salute to y'all. Give y'all flowers where y'all deserve it.
Yes, sir.
All the good stuff y'all doing, providing this platform for people. So thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Are you
for being here.
kidding me?
Please,
Yes.
man.
Are
You are
you
a very
kidding me?
special guest, man.
Right,
All right.
and thanking us. No, we need to thank you for everything that you do, but we're going to get to all of that really
Yes.
soon. We usually kick it off with some news, so
Okay.
we're going to just throw you in the mix with us, and we're going to take it from there. So the first topic of the day.
Myers Leonard. Bruh, everything you do as a superstar is on stage. You have to know that.
Yep.
And this guy has been called out for being on a video game, in a chat room for a video game, and saying anti-Semitic words.
Right.
Bruh, how much did he get fined?
So he's fined $50,000. So it just came out today. They just announced he is fined $50,000. He's suspended from all Heat facilities and activities for a week.
Wow.
A week.
Wow.
It's heavy.
A week. So here's
Yikes.
the thing. As soon as he issued like a very sterile apology and claimed that he didn't know what the word was.
I mean, he's young, so that is possible. It is a pretty
So where to hear it? Where would you even hear that word?
perhaps School Ties, the movie about
Okay.
No, nothing. All right.
I don't know. But anyway, so, the cool thing is I thought Julian Edelman reached out and he
Football player, right?
right, from the New England Patriots, and he said, I'm Jewish, and I think, and actually he said something really cool, I thought. Anyway, he said, I'm sure you've been getting lots of criticism for what you said. Not trying to add to that. I just want to offer some perspective. I get the sense that you didn't use that word out of hate, more out of ignorance. Most likely you weren't trying to hurt anyone or even profile Jews in your comment. That's what makes it so destructive. When someone intends to be hateful, it's usually met with great resistance. Casual ignorance is harder to combat and has greater reach, especially when you command great influence. Hate is like a virus. Even accidentally, it can rapidly spread. I'm down in Miami fairly often. Let's do a Shabbat dinner with some friends, and I'll show you a fun time.
Nice.
I loved that.
Nice.
I really, really loved
Nice.
that. And what he said, too, is so perfect. It's like that is so much more destructive. Right? And so I just thought it was awesome that he's like a Super Bowl champ reaching out saying, hey, I'm Jewish. I don't think you meant it. Let me educate you. Let me take some time. Let's sit together. Let me show you. I feel like we need so much more of that in this world.
Yeah.
It would just be a better place.
I agree.
Let me help build you up.
Exactly.
That's exactly what that is, and educate you on things that you might not know about. So
Right.
Exactly. And so instead of, and Kenny, I'd love for you to weigh in on this. So, Lawrence and I have spoken out about this. We're really not fans of cancel culture. We're human beings. We make mistakes, right?
Yep.
I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, if you continue to make the same mistake over and over, that's a different story. But for the most part, you do make mistakes or you slip up. So I really think that, extending that hand and saying, hey, come sit with me. Let's talk about this.
Right.
How do you feel about cancel culture?
No, that's fine. What he did was, the person made a mistake. Now, on the other side, let me talk to you and educate you and fill you on things that you might not know. So now that mistake won't happen again. Now, if it happens again, it's a different conversation.
Right.
So that was a really good thing. So,
But you have your own company.
Right.
Your own program, your own basketball league.
Right.
We're talking about a guy on a major basketball team.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So now, that was Kenny.
Yep.
My man, the personal. I
Right.
want to know Kenny, the businessman. How would you handle this?
That's a tough one, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to think, you have to go to like the human resource department.
Right.
You got to think about, the ethics of everything, and try to figure out what makes sense. I don't know about the fine. The fine I thought was kind of a smack on the wrist.
Yep.
It should have been a little bit more a sturdier fine, but they addressing it. It wasn't something that was swept under the rug, and I guess whatever penalties that they felt they needed to do, they did so.
So is that a business move? The fine is a business move too? Because you have the reason
On both sides, right? It catches
Yeah.
you financially, which hurts your family, and then it also makes you aware that you made a mistake that you have to pay for.
Right, but I'm asking as the head of the league,
Right.
And you're the face of a league,
Yep,
right?
yep.
And you have to be worried about sponsors.
Yep.
You have to be worried about fan support.
Yep.
Is it a business move? Can you go without finding this guy? Not really business wise, right?
No, I don't think so. I think you have to put your foot down.
Yeah.
And honestly, I probably went a little harder.
Okay.
Where you could feel it. So
Yeah.
you made the mistake, but you got to pay for it. Got to
Yeah.
pay for. Sometimes it's heavy consequences.
I agree.
know?
And I think we take this for granted that these young guys understand the way things work all the time in the business world, and when you're working with fans who have their sensitivities. And
Yeah.
people forget that when you're in the entertainment business, the public opinion matters so much.
110%. 110%.
Right?
Right.
So they have
Perception. It's perception.
Right. And so the league has to raise professionals through these fines.
Right.
And I think people often forget that. So when you say 50,000 was a slap on the wrist, and then you say he had like a sterile apology, I don't know if this was a good move, the way they handled it. But I hope that there's still space for everyone to grow in this situation.
Right.
I think it's his first offense, and maybe that played into it, which is why the fine was so low and also only a week. I personally don't think it's enough. I personally don't, but, who am I? So it'll be interesting to see how he recovers. I think in these situations, you usually hope that a bigger news story breaks and you just disappear underneath the bigger story, and then you just go back to playing basketball. I think
Maybe
that's
there's
what you hope for.
a class he might have to take or something like that.
See,
So,
now
you
that is what, so that was going to be my next point. So
Right.
to me, I think he needs to meet with Julian Edelman, and
Yep.
I think they need to film that, and I think that needs to be like a series, a show, a something that they talk about. But more importantly, where I think they missed the mark is I think there needs to be an educational
Right.
base.
Yep.
Go volunteer
Yes.
at Shabbat dinner. Go to the local Jewish community center and sit down and hear some stories. Learn about the Holocaust. Like, let's do something to educate ourselves so then we don't make those same mistakes. And then even more so, if we're around someone who does that, make that mistake,
them.
then we can go, hey, you know what? I made that mistake too. Let me
I agree.
explain,
I
right?
agree.
So I feel like just finding someone money who gets paid a lot of money isn't
Millions of
really,
dollars.
yeah,
Yeah.
like who cares? Like who cares?
For
at
us,
the end of the day?
50,000 might change
Oh.
the way we have
Right,
our
for us,
day, right?
Right, for
fact.
sure.
Well,
but
the person
Our
that's making
day, our week, bro. A month.
my year,
Yeah, the person
whatever.
that's making millions and millions of dollars, 50,000 is like,
And what is that
agree.
saying?
that was dinner.
Also, like to the young fans that look up to him, what kind of message is that sending? Like, you do something wrong, okay, just go be rich. So when you do something wrong, you just pay for it, and then you just keep on going.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I
agree.
feel like there needs to be an education-based, system that they put in place for these things when they happen.
I
I don't
agree.
know, just my opinion.
I agree.
I agree with you. I'm with you.
Okay.
So, in other news,
Yes.
we did want to get your opinion on something.
Okay.
Yes.
And the reason we want to get your opinion, outside of the fact that we just respect you so much,
Thank you.
is we also respect you as a businessman, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You have
So
built
much.
a brand from the ground up.
Yes.
So now I'm looking at the NBA logo,
Right.
and there's been that conversation of whether or not we should keep the same logo of Jerry West or we should change it. And if we should change it, how should we change it? How often should we change it? And to whom should we change the logo?
Right.
What's your take on that?
I think it's time for change.
Yes.
I think it's time for change. I think the logo has served its purpose for the time. And I think if you're going to change it, it has to be to an iconic person, right? and we know that we had a tragedy with Mr. Bryant. We losing Mr. Bryant. I think having the logo having Kobe as the silhouette for the logo, I think I think it's time.
Okay.
You know, that's just my personal opinion on it. You know,
I respect
I
that.
like it.
And Jerry West, of course, he is who he is.
Yeah.
You know, he's done a lot for the league. But, you know, it's,
He even said
30, 40 years, 50 years, something like that?
Yeah.
He said he's embarrassed about it. He said he fully supports it changing.
Right.
He
And
was
everybody
like, I don't
changes their
need
logo after a while, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You update. You
Right.
upgrade.
You
right?
Exactly. And the logo will still remain the same. It'll be what it is, but I think it's time for change.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, we're in a new era. Like,
You think?
is Kobe one of your guys' suggestion, or is somebody
I mean,
else?
so
Is it Jordan, maybe?
we can't though. That's a problem because his symbol is trademarked already, right? So we can't make.
Well,
that
they could
the
work
symbol
out
of
a
the
deal.
NBA.
They could.
They
if
always
Jordan
do.
was,
They
if
always
Jordan
do.
was willing.
Right.
But do you know the amount of money that he would
Right.
probably want? However, he has so much money. Doesn't he just want it would
Notoriety.
be him.
The
Right.
notoriety.
Like,
I think
just-
he should be at that point in his career.
Right.
Or in his life.
Right. He should be. Which I mean, there was the knock on Jordan that he was so self-involved for a very long time, but since COVID hit, he's been dishing out dollars.
Okay.
Yeah, he has.
He's been
definitely.
dishing out dollars.
He definitely has.
So maybe he would be willing to.
Is there somebody else in mind?
Yes.
So a couple people of our listeners who are super awesome and always leave comments or reach out via DM. So Luke,
Luke.
who we always bring up, and hey Luke, I know he listens and he loves the shout out. So hey Luke. So I loved what he said. He said there are plenty of people that embody the spirit of goatness.
Okay.
And would you even be talking about Kobe if unfortunately he hadn't passed? Would he be, because he would
The
still
answer's
be
still
alive.
yes. Answer's still yes.
Okay. For you, it's still yes.
I agree because
Because he's retired, right?
Right.
And what he's done for the game for such a very long time.
Right.
And he walked away on top as
Talk
well.
about it. Right.
So it's not, and of course he has some trials and tribulations through his career.
Right. Mhm.
But still, what he did on that court and what he meant to so many people.
Yeah.
You know, I think that he is, epitome of perfection, or
Yes.
just hard work and determination and the Mamba, the whole
Yes.
Mamba thing. So
that whole
So
mentality.
yeah.
Right.
And then the way he was after he retired, he was the teacher. He
Yes.
was the professor.
Yes.
Right? You want that guy to represent
And
this
stayed around the
league.
game. He
Yes.
didn't drift off.
Yeah.
No, and he could have, but he
Right.
didn't.
He didn't. Okay.
Right?
So we had a couple other people share their opinions as well. Opinionated Facts, who's
My man.
also a podcast.
Yep.
So you got
Shout out to Opinionated Facts,
Right.
my man Mel.
check him out. So we went back and forth in a DM. I had a great conversation with him, but basically he was like, we kind of came down to have an East. We can change it up. It doesn't always have to be the same thing. There's a lot. So in my professional experience and branding, I know you weren't with this, I don't think, but there are brands who have different design elements and they can switch it up. You can do special occasion logos. You can do certain things for the All-Star. You can do East-West, whatever. Like there's things, as long as you keep some brand consistency.
Right.
So we kind of landed there and he was like, okay, send the email. I was like, all right, cool. So that was another opinion. So then Jay, a friend of mine, way back from Kansas, he says, you know what? If you're going to change it, you know who's changed the game more than anybody?
Check this out.
Steph Curry. Make it Steph Curry's jumper. So before you answer that, I want to give you a fact.
Check this out.
So check this out. He has a point, and the reason why is because threes are on the rise. The three-pointer now represents 39.4% of all field goal attempts, up 61% over the last 10 years. And by the way, Curry was drafted to the NBA in 2009.
Check that out.
So if it's up 61% in 10 years,
got a
and that's
point.
because Curry's been in the league for
got
the
a
last
point.
10 years. So it's valid. I mean, I'm not necessarily voting for Curry to be the new NBA logo. However, it's valid. It's a valid, point.
I like the idea of changing it for different occasions. It's not out of reach.
Yeah.
Right. So we at one
too.
point we never would have thought we would have saw sponsors logos on NBA jerseys. Let's go back
Exactly.
there.
Yes.
Right.
True.
So the times kind of changed a little bit,
Totally.
And if we're gonna have that type of narrative, then it's fair game for everything.
Yeah. So
the reason why I wouldn't go Steph yet is because he's still active.
Right.
Right, he's still playing. He's still in the league, and
We don't know where that's
that would
headed.
be kind of inappropriate.
yeah,
I
you
get what
know.
you're saying.
Yeah, I don't think someone who's active.
And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it because what he's
Right.
done for the game of basketball.
Right.
You know, most kids can identify with him, then they can identify with LeBron just because of
Definitely.
You know, weird.
And he's come
that's
up
my,
too.
He's my height.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like
And
that.
he's
You know,
not
Yeah.
he's not gargantuan
Right,
in stature
right,
like a
right,
LeBron
right.
or a
but I rock with
Giannis.
LeBron. Let's make sure that we have that
please.
clear. I rock
Yes.
with LeBron. So.
Yes.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, I rock with LeBron. But
No,
anyway.
but the interesting thing is, if the guys that are active, like LeBron and
Right.
Steph,
Right.
So if we're not changing the overall like legacy logo, that could be like the legacy logo, right?
Okay.
That we use for certain things, and then we can switch it up. Let's get creative. Let's have contests. Let's bring fans in. Let's get creative with the branding. I mean, obviously the NBA has the final stamp of approval, but I think there's a lot of really cool things. Like Brooklyn's doing awesome stuff with local artists.
They are.
Like, or they use Basquiat, right? On the
Right.
court and
Yep,
on the jerseys,
yep.
which I love.
Which
I'm a
is
huge Basquiat
awesome.
fan.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's awesome. I love that creative expression. Let's do that league wide. Like, let's get a little. Why does it have to be one thing that's like stuck in stone? I think the times are changing. Branding and marketing is changing. Fans want to be involved. People want to get involved. Students could be involved. I
Right.
mean, like, I have so many
got
ideas,
an
NBA.
idea.
You got to call me.
I've got an idea.
Okay.
How about you pick the greatest player for each team and make that the icon on each jersey? So you would have LeBron on a certain team, right? You'd have then you'd have Kobe on the Lakers jersey. You'd have I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
whatever.
So you could do it for each team, the greatest player of that team.
So here's the thing that we have to think about.
What's the representation? Sorry, what's the representation for the league though? Does it
So,
stay?
well,
Does it
there's-
stay the same?
Right. So that's what we have to decide. That's why I was calling it the legacy logo. Like, there's something that has to be done there. Here's the thing, and Kenny, I know you'll relate to this, and it comes up for me all the time in my business, is when you start changing logos,
Right.
it starts costing money.
Of course.
So we need to take what we're doing budget-wise into consideration as well, which is why I'm saying, like, for special occasions, for the All-Star game, for certain things, I think there's some creative freedom and expression that we can play with. That's also a moneymaker. But we really have to come to some type of agreement on the legacy logo.
Yeah, but the changing of the logo sometimes get lost again in what you're trying to do, right? So we see the NBA logo, we know that's the NBA logo.
Right.
Now you change it and you have different logos, you get confused in your thoughts of what's that for again?
Right.
What's that for again?
Right,
and
right.
and you're like, I'm not really interested because that's not my,
Totally.
that's
Yeah.
not my lane.
Right.
Totally.
But the logo itself for the NBA doesn't matter what it is because it's going to be
Right.
stamped on everything.
Right.
So
Right.
that's something that
It's an awesome case study, actually, and it could be really interesting for like branding and marketing students.
I'm gonna get controversial.
Okay, do it.
If we change the logo,
Yeah.
does it have to be a black man?
Not necessarily. I don't think so. Greatness is greatness, right?
Okay.
I don't know if that for yeah.
I know, but let's
mean,
talk about the percentage of players. I wish I had these stats
But how many black men?
versus white men.
I mean, we
played
know
in
the majority
NBA.
of the players in the NBA has long since been black men, right?
Right,
That's what prompted it. It wasn't that I actually was trying to make this a black power movement. I
No,
just
of
think
course
the league has been flooded with
Right.
black talent, and
Right.
so we had Jerry West as the symbol
Yeah.
for so long with
Right.
all this black talent. Do you now, given the climate,
Yeah.
do you have to make it a black man if you change it? There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. That's the question. So we can move on. I mean, it's something to think
The
about.
person is the person, right?
Okay.
I don't know if it's necessarily a black, white, Asian. I don't know if that matters. The person is the person. What you've done over the years and contributed to the NBA, and that should be where your mind should be at of what's the determination of the logo. It shouldn't matter if,
Okay.
So
I don't know. This is a big one. I'm sure we'll talk about this again.
Oh, we're gonna
It's
talk.
Definitely
Yeah,
not.
you guys got my wheels rolling
Yeah,
in my mind.
Yes,
we'll revisit this.
Yeah,
We'll revisit this.
That wasn't where I was at, but that's good though.
Yeah,
That's
no,
good.
but this is what conversation's good for, right?
Absolutely.
This is how we shift perspective and we open our minds and our hearts and our vision, and this is the whole point of this. It's just have these open conversations so we can toss things around. No judgment, no hate, no ill will.
Right,
We're just
right.
about collaboration and
Right.
figuring it out, and what makes most sense. So it's just a great conversation to have. I'm sure the listeners will have plenty to say too.
Yeah.
So please weigh in, send us DMs, comments, whatever.
Always.
We want to hear it all. But Lawrence's favorite segment, I should say, is up next.
Whose kid is this?
Oh my!
So apparently, Zach Lavine's 4th grade teacher
Right.
asked what Zach Lavine wanted to be. He said he wanted to be an NBA star.
Right.
The teacher told him to write something more realistic.
That's a bad comment.
Whose
these days.
kid is this? How are you a teacher that's squashing a 4th grader's dreams? And now look.
Well, let's go back, right? Let's go back into history because, history dictates how things are now. When you are, or even for us growing up, you thought basketball was life.
Yeah, we did.
We all thought that at one point we'd be in the NBA or whatever the case may be. So when you're writing on a paper like, hey, I want to be an NBA basketball player, and the teacher doesn't support that, and then you wind up in the NBA, like, you didn't believe me.
That's right.
So
That's right.
we're not in a world or in a time now where things is not reality, Just think about the presidency. Just think about all the accomplishments of a lot of different people that probably had those same conversations when they was younger or with a teacher or thing,
Yeah.
And in my future, this is what I want to be a doctor. Like,
Pick
you sure you don't want to you don't want to be the cable guy? Like,
Right.
no disrespect to the cable guy, but like,
Yeah.
no.
And adults don't realize how much power of influence they have just by acting normally, right? We often miss our influence on children because we think when we speak directly to children and we expect an immediate result and we don't get that immediate result, that the children aren't paying us attention and that we don't have an effect on the children. But the truth of the matter is they watch us and imitate us much more than they listen to us,
I
right?
agree.
That's that
I
old,
agree.
isn't that a James Baldwin quote, I believe? Where they say, he says basically that children will imitate you before they listen to you. And I think if you tell a child that, and the child is offering up his or her dreams, and you tell a child that, that child will believe that that is not only the truth, but that is realism, right? That's reality. And that's so dangerous. But it can also, for the certain kid or the right kid, it can serve as motivation.
Exactly.
Right?
I was just going to say that. Right.
Yes.
But I don't think, but here's the rub.
But not
I don't think
average.
these kids these days, I don't think when you shoot them down, they respond the way you or Aaron or I would have responded. You tell me I'm not going to do something, I'll tell you to your face I'm going to get it done, right? And I don't see that in this generation that's coming up now. So it's very dangerous to shoot down their dreams. You have to encourage them more because they're used to instant gratification, and it's very hard for them to fight and stick things through.
Right.
You have to have goals and discipline to make it from point A to point B,
yes,
right? And you're
yes.
not going to make it to point B if someone tells you not to, and then you don't have the discipline. Right? And this instant gratification, it gets rid of all discipline in these kids, man.
Yeah.
They want it now because as soon as they click on something, it happens.
It happens, right?
But also, it's also gone extreme in the other way too. So if a teacher says you're not going to be an NBA star, they're like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am, because I'm going to be a famous Fortnite player and an NBA star and a rapper too. So how about that?
Go into
and that's what they think.
You see my Instagram? You didn't see my Instagram.
No.
You didn't see my likes. That's what happened with the kids now.
Yeah.
The kids automatically use social media as now they're, I'm good at what I do.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm
the
saying.
proof. The proof is there.
Right.
Because
So
the
when you're
lines- sorry.
saying, so like when the teacher or an adult says to you, yeah, I'm sorry, but like the NBA is probably not really realistic. They're
Right.
like, oh yeah, it is. And I have this many followers.
Yes,
And did you see my
yes,
highlight reel
yes.
from last weekend when I was in wherever? And they like believe it. So it's almost scarier, I feel like, to believe that because they all think they're going to be NBA stars
agree.
and famous rappers and Fortnite players,
they're
and,
so detached
and they're going to
from
go
reality.
live in these TikTok houses and make millions of dollars just by posting videos of themselves all day. Like they believe that, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
For us who are basketball coaches and enthusiasts, I think it's challenging, right? Because every kid that you deal with at a certain level, the first thing that I'm playing Division I.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
So you have to be careful. Especially these days, you got to be careful how you answer and respond to that. Not only are you might shoot down their hoop dreams, but so I asked them like, what schools are looking at you? Not even college, go high school. Who's recruiting you? Like, I don't want to hear about your Instagram. Don't send me to your YouTube.
Right.
I see you in front of me.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you're saying that you're going to North Carolina, you got to prove to me that you're going to. So they start recruiting you like in 7th grade, 8th grade.
Yep.
You know, and here you are, a senior, and it's a little bit. It's hard sometimes.
It is hard, and you got to remember you're competing internationally now.
Right.
And,
yes.
And they have farms overseas where they grow ball players.
Right.
And they grow sports athletes in general. And we don't have the same types of farm system here. You know what I mean? Our farm system is more of an educational farm system or an educational training farm system, but we don't have the athlete training system.
Right. They teach them how to be pros at an early age,
Yes,
14,
yes.
15.
You look at Ricky Rubio, Luka Doncic, Dirk Nowitzki.
Yes.
These people came in early on. Even Peja Stojakovic
Yes,
back in the days
yes,
was playing
yes,
early.
yes.
Drazen Petrovic, right? These are all guys who were playing professionally before 18. And the only American I know who was doing that was LaMelo Ball.
Right.
Right? Who then went overseas, right? And we talked about that on the show a lot of he's a basketball specialist, right? We have children being raised as specialists. He's a basketball specialist. You don't see that very often.
Remember Brandon Jennings did it? He did it kind of like before him, kind of like started that narrative of going, I don't want to go to college. I want to go overseas and kind of like pave my, and it worked out for him. But everybody's situation is not like that.
No. Yeah.
You know, and again, you got to kind of be a special person to understand what that sacrifice is like. And I don't know if the majority of the kids get it.
Yeah.
You know, that's where the disconnect comes in at when you're trying to, what's your alternative? You know, because now I have to have that conversation with you. Is it Division I or bust? Or if it doesn't happen Division I, what do you want to do? Right? Because you see Division I in your mirror, but I see maybe a Division II, Division III.
Which ain't bad.
Or just go somewhere where you get a chance to play.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Right? Because you still could be a Division I prospect, but are you going to get minutes?
That's the other thing.
You know? Why won't you go somewhere where you can play and
Get
kind of
better.
get better, kind of create, you know, your profile of.
Exactly.
You can't get caught up.
Nah,
in
but
those
you know,
big
I want to go to St. Joe's and.
Yep.
But it's not flashy. It doesn't look good on the gram.
It doesn't look good on the gram. And see, the other thing that the kids don't understand is your first goal can't be NBA or D1. That can be your second goal. Your first goal has to actually be developing great habits. And then the byproduct of these great habits happens to land you in that second goal.
Right. I agree with that.
You have to understand that drilling these kids and telling them, yo, if you want to go D1, you're going to do this is It's the wrong message. The right message is, okay, you want to go D1? That's a long-term goal.
Right.
Let's work on some short-term goals. How are you going to get your left hand stronger? How are you going to get lower on defense? How are you going to be able to wake up early on weekdays and get more workouts in? Develop these good habits, the good habits of a winner, of a D1 player, and then you'll land there. But a lot of people don't understand that, or they don't want to say that to these kids because they know the kids are not listening, right? But
All
you've got to...
of those sensitive sometimes. All the kids are sensitive sometimes,
they
you know? And you know, if you speak the truth with them, sometimes it becomes, I might lose them. You know, I got to be careful on the words that I'm, you know, again, because some of us are in it for different reasons, right?
Yep.
And if you speak the truth, does that mean that your relationship is going to change? Or I'm just telling you kind of like what I see.
Yep.
You know, so.
But I think that starts with the relationship building in the first place, Kenny, because, Kenny, you and I have a relationship.
Right.
So if you tell me, yo, L, what you did the other day was foul,
right,
and I don't respect it, I've got to understand that you're coming from a place where you want to see me at my pinnacle. You want to see me at my best, right? So if ever you tell me I'm doing something wrong, I got to check that, right? Now, if we don't have that relationship, I'm going to look at you like you're a hater, right?
And that's what happens, though.
Right.
Regardless if I said that to you, and let me interject that for a minute, what he said, and think about it. But sometimes we as people don't do that.
Right.
Like automatic, like, well, come on, man.
Yep.
You know, like, and when you look at it like, yo, think about it, he was kind of like telling the truth.
Yeah.
You know?
And you need to hear it.
Right. And you need to hear it. You need to hear it, yeah.
So I think where we land in this is, number one, build a relationship with the kids, right? So you can tell them the truth. And number two, teach them that good habits supersede that end goal that you have. And if you do everything right up until then, you should land exactly where you're supposed to land.
I agree.
Right?
And Zach Lavine, you should reach out to that teacher and invite them to a game. Let them sit courtside, watch it firsthand.
I don't know.
So reach out to the teachers like, you know who his father is? like that.
Word.
You know?
Word.
But that doesn't usually translate either, though.
I
So
know.
it's different.
So I want to talk. A lot of people know you,
Right.
but some people may not, right? So
Which is true.
Right.
Well, first thing I want to say is, if you haven't already checked out the Ballers Journal, we did an article on Kenny. I don't know. That was like 2 years ago now.
Right.
2 years ago.
About 2 years.
So we got to swing by the youth program
Right.
that he was running. We got to sit down, and I mean,
we
was
got to
blown.
sit down with this family too.
I mean, mama. I mean, we
Yeah.
got it all. We got it all. So
Yeah.
we had such a great day that day. I learned
beautiful.
so
Thank
much.
you.
There was so much love and community in that gym. And then we got to go into another room and sit with Kenny and just introduced to this brilliant business mind and so please check out the article first, just to give you a little bit of background.
Right.
But then also, I think Lawrence was going to say, if you can just give us a little, for those who are listening who don't know Kenny Stevens and Dyckman Basketball, which is, if you don't know, I feel sorry for you. You better ask somebody. But anyway, so tell us a little bit about who Kenny Stevens is, Dyckman Basketball, what you do.
And this is going to be very difficult for Kenny.
I know.
It is.
I
it
know,
is.
I
You
know.
guys put me on the spot.
Everybody
It is.
needs to know that Kenny hates to talk about
Right.
himself. He loves to talk about the children,
Right. Yep.
talk about the future, and talk about his business.
Right.
But if you ask him to even take a picture of himself,
Uh-uh.
good luck. The only person I've seen be able to take a picture of Kenny is Aaron.
Yes.
So
I know, I'm so lucky. I
Yeah.
feel so
So-
blessed to be able to do that.
It's hard for me sometimes to do that because it looks like you're showboating sometimes,
I feel
and
the
that's
same
that's not who I am. You know,
You're not. Yeah.
I kind of look at the product of what we've built over the years to kind of speak volumes of kind of who we are, what we've done.
Yep.
And it's come to me, especially during this pandemic, like the face of Dyckman Basketball, somebody has to put that face with the name. And not that I've been hiding behind the brand, but sometimes people don't know.
Yeah.
People don't know. Oh, they see Dyckman Basketball, and all these other different images come to people's mindset of who's the director, who's the CEO. For me, I love the mystery. It works for me.
nice.
Right? Until we have to step up on that podium and like, okay, yeah, now I'm here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but as far as who am I? Husband, father, community leader,
Yes, indeed.
basketball coach, friend, brother,
Yes, indeed.
mentor.
Yep.
It's so many, you know. Just try to be a good person, you know. I started the tournament. I'll give you a brief summary of who I am. Hopefully, I'll let people kind of have an idea. I started the tournament 31 years ago, right? And the 31, again, I just started with myself. I started with two other good friends, childhood friends of mine, Sandbox, Omar Booth and Michael Jenkins, just because we got tired of running around the city playing. We kind of like finished college, and we used to go to different parks and play pickup, and we just realized that, wait. How about we start inviting guys to our own park? And that's kind of how the tournament started. We met some referees along the way and played in different summer leagues in Queens and Staten Island, all over the city, and built relations. And we started having guys come play pickup every weekend. You know, you bring your five, I bring my five. And then after a while, you know, because we was from Dyckman, we was very territorial. Like, well, we ain't losing tonight.
That's right.
You know, this had nothing to do with tournament. This is just park rules,
Yep.
community love, you know. And then people just started coming out and like, oh, you got those guys from Connecticut coming down. You got Brooklyn coming down. Like, yeah, y'all gonna lose today. And you know, we end of the day, it was just about us having fun until we realized that Yeah, we lost. You know, yeah, you lost.
Right.
Like, wait. The last thing you want is people to talk about you in your own park that you kind of like live in and you grown up in. And that's kind of like how the tournament started. Really.
You know what? I miss that energy. I don't feel like
It's not in the parks like that no more.
No.
First of all, you don't have the pickup games.
Right.
Second of all, people will lose and they'll be like, all right, next game, what's up? Like, what? Yo,
Right. You didn't wear it.
like-
For us, we wore it for like
What?
till the next weekend.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed, because you had to hear about it
Yes,
too.
yes.
And every win and loss, you wore that
Right.
on your coat. That
Yes.
was your Letterman
Yes.
jacket.
Yes.
That was your reputation,
Yes.
right? And I feel like these kids today, they don't have that. Right? They can hop around from team to team.
Mm-hmm.
They can play pickup ball and say, oh, I'm not even really playing for real.
Right.
Oh, all right, the refs did me dirty, so it's no big deal. We get them next year. But it's like, nah, every game mattered. I don't
Right.
care if we were playing the 5. Every game mattered.
And even if you playing just pick up with your friends.
Yes.
You know, so I watch, even now, you know, I watch the kids who have friends that's their opponents. That's in regular games, and you going nice to them. Like,
Right.
I wasn't taught like that.
Nah.
Yeah.
I told was kill or be killed.
That's
you know,
right.
even look, I got beat up a lot by my brothers
Yeah.
Yep.
until I was able to, and not, I'm talking about basketball wise,
Yeah.
until I was able to hold my own.
Exactly.
Right? You know, you skinny, you young, they're physical, I was known just take the ball out. To the point where, I want to shoot, I want to
I wanna
pass,
play.
I want to get in.
Right.
And after a while, so that's kind of like how everything builds up. And you're right, a lot of these kids now,
They don't have it, man.
yo, you lost, all right, yo. Because you lose when you're younger, you might as well just go home for the day. Because getting back on that court,
You're not gonna get back on, bro.
plus, the guy that's on the sideline, I'm not picking you up.
You lost. You part
You
of the reason
lost.
we lost. And
You're
that's
the
another
reason
thing.
we lost.
That's another thing. Because
Yeah.
kids are not playing pickup ball
Right.
like that, they, number one, they lose the creativity
Yes.
because they're so trained with
Yes.
the cones and everything. But they also lose the ability to mesh, gel, and then fight for their spot.
I agree.
You don't
I
fight for
agree.
your spot anymore.
I agree.
Your parents might fight for your spot more than you do these days.
And the parks is not built like that, like they was when we was younger, where you can go to park, and at any given time, yo, I got 5. Yo, you got 5? And you see guys that's from the community that
go.
arise. So where did it come from?
Let's go.
Now, like, you gotta like damn near bring 10.
Yo,
Just so you can bring
I was
full
just about to
court.
say, do you know how many days I've spent driving around looking for a game?
Gotta bring
I didn't need a league when I was younger.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm sorry. So we went off on a tangent.
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry,
really-
but I apologize.
But that's important to me.
Hey.
So speaking about your business,
Yes.
right? 31 years in the business, and
Yep.
for those of you who've never been to a Dyckman game, there's no energy.
it's an
like it.
experience.
I don't
Let
think.
me tell you.
I've been to arenas. Aaron and I have covered so many tournaments, so many games. There is nothing like the energy at Dyckman. And you show up, I don't care who you are. You show up, you might get some clout, some attention for about 5 minutes, and then it's back to the crowd. It's about the family.
Right.
It's about the venue. It's about the neighborhood. It's about the game. It's not about individual people out there.
Right.
It is a true community. And my favorite part about it is when Kenny walks through the crowd. That's like dad. That's like big pops. That's like big bro walking through. If dad said get off the court, you get off the court. And it doesn't matter who's out there. You got some of the toughest, most known, wealthiest guys from the street, people from the community. But
Or the NBA.
Or the NBA. But when
The
Kenny
NBA.
says something, they respect it. And you know why they respect it? Because he's providing not just a service, not just entertainment. He's providing a venue for an entire community.
Right.
He's providing a venue for an entire community of basketball as well.
And a safe community.
Yes.
So I think the other side of it is like a level of respect, right?
Right.
For all that we have done together, not just us from the organization standby, but for the community, right? Because I'm always going to believe that the community has to receive what we're doing in order for this to work, and that when it's time for us to play, we need the court.
Yeah.
So you're here because you want to watch the game and you
Right.
want to watch these spectacular ball players do what they do. And if you don't give them that platform to do what they do, then they probably won't come back.
Right.
But when you know that, it's going to be exciting.
Oh,
and the game, so my job is to make sure that the games are competitive.
Right.
Now, entertainment, all that happens just in the nature of the flow of the
York
game.
City.
And
But
New York City.
Yeah,
Right.
and the crowd.
but we also have to be conscious of the teams that are playing certain games.
Yeah.
And knowing how to, have some days elevated, some days kind of like, mild, some days, even though it's still going to be a fun, entertaining.
Wow. So that's part of your planning?
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think about it. Okay.
I
Yeah.
remember having conversations with you
Yeah.
last summer about that because there were certain nights
Right.
where you knew from the beginning, before the crowd started even
I tell you
coming
that
in.
early. I tell you that
You
early.
tell me. You
Yeah.
pull me aside. You go, listen to me. Tonight is going to be something.
Right.
Watch
Night.
out.
Right.
And like you knew when certain teams were playing each other, when certain people in the
Right.
crowd were showing up,
Right.
who needs to sit where, who
Right.
needs to. I mean, you have eyes on everything. And I was
Yeah.
so mesmerized by that because if you've been there, Kenny is never, you'll look in his direction, you'll see him, you'll glance away, you'll look back, and he is not in
gone.
that same place.
gone.
He is moving constantly, trying to make sure that everything is safe and
Right.
flowing,
Yes.
and the games are continuing,
Yes.
and the refs are doing their job, and the fans are staying in their place and like not getting too crazy. And I think though you've done such a good job because there is such a respect level.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that was what was so amazing to me is because there is that respect level. And yeah, there's a few times it gets a little heated or a little,
That's just part of the
tense.
nature of the beast.
It is, and it's
Right.
New York City, right?
Yeah,
And people
yeah,
are competitive and passionate.
As
So
they
you
should
want to
be.
see that, right?
Right.
But there is a level of respect when you step in and say, all right, that's enough. That's
Right.
enough. And the fans know, listen, check yourself or you're leaving. And no one wants to leave.
Well, part of that is also just us knowing, and I say us from the staffing, what teams bring what
Right, exactly.
at that particular time or that night. Well, we know that we have to bring the high level teams. Maybe we had them play earlier, because as the night gets old, more people are coming.
Uh-huh.
Right? So you'll see some of the high level teams like, why they playing early? It's the reason why they're playing early.
Exactly.
Because there was a time where we would have them on that late night, which was great. That was pre-social media.
Yep.
So you could do that. It was like one of those things where you had to be there in order to understand it. Where now social media has kind of changed the game where you could post something early and the park could be a zoo before
Yeah.
you even blink.
Yep.
Yep.
Right?
We've seen that
And
happen.
Yeah.
so we try not to post stuff early because it's a buildup,
Yep.
Yeah.
right? And if we're not conscious of that, it could be a situation.
You know, the
Interesting.
amount of decision making that goes into setting up the Dyckman tournament
Right.
and just a single game.
Yes.
I think it has gone over my head for quite some time. And I already think of you as like a business genius, but you're also a logistical genius to make it all work, because there are a lot of moving parts, and you don't move with authority, and authority typically controls. You are one person I can say, especially as a teacher. As a teacher, I'm the type of guy that I like controlled chaos. Right? It may seem chaotic to you, but I got it.
But I got it. Yeah.
But that's how I feel
Yeah.
watching you. It may
Yeah.
seem chaotic, and I'll sit in the media section and I'll look, because Aaron's always around, snapping pictures in with the crowd, having a blast, and I'm sitting there writing and just sitting and I spot you and I watch you, and you're so cool, and you've got it, and it's almost like you've seen it play out before it's playing out.
I do, right? So my mind is always racing, right? So there's 2 good days for me. The first day of the tournament,
First day and the last.
and the last day. Those are the 2 good days for me. In between that is, it's not that because I'm in it, it's hard to really grasp it and enjoy it, because I want everybody else
Right.
to come in and have a good time. So I'm able to look at certain areas and see a little bit of smoke before the fire starts. So I need to get over there and figure out if do I need a water hose or does it need a bucket?
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
To put out that smoke of that fire. So,
Yeah.
or you know what? It's nothing. It's just 2 kids that's talking loud that, you know. They'll turn that down a little because it looks like it's more than what it is.
Right.
And, because of the amount of people that sometimes frequent the tournament, the littlest thing can cause,
Of course.
attention.
Yep.
So the least that happens, the better off we kind of are. So the attention could stay on the action and people would just feel comfortable amongst each other,
Yes, indeed.
And because because of the relations we've built over the years, right?
In the community.
In the community, and especially in that park,
Yep.
I could look up and know that you're not in your space you was for the last 3 years. Like, why?
Yeah.
Right.
Why are you not over here? Oh, you know what? I'm not over there because of. So now you raise my antennas.
Yep.
That you might have a situation that I need to alert my peoples about. But 9 times out of 10, everybody is kind of going to their certain section.
They're
right.
very territorial.
Which makes it easier for me.
Right. And they are very territorial,
Right.
and they're loyal,
Yes.
loyal.
Yes.
And I have to say, there's 2 things to say about this. One, that speaks volumes to what you've built, you and your team and your family, and the community, what you've built, because the love for Dyckman is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is over the top, loyal as they get. I mean, people come from all over. I have said, and I am probably one of the biggest Dyckman fans ever.
Thank you.
I mean, honestly, there's no other place like it in the world. I pretty much live there.
Yes,
when
yes.
I
Yeah.
love
It's a good
thing.
Dyckman. I love Dyckman. And I have to say this, too. Coming to Dyckman and walking in there, you have made me feel so welcome and so loved. Everyone on the team, the community. I've made friends that I speak to on the regular that I never would have been friends with or even had the opportunity to meet because of Dyckman Basketball.
Wow.
I mean, multiple handfuls of them. So, I mean, people that, I'm on social media with, people that I see on the regular, whatever. I've made so many friends because of you and what you've built. So I think that speaks volumes to the loyalty and the love and the community, but also not everybody can be Ken Stevens and run Dyckman Basketball.
No.
Like you're saying, you are so alert and aware, and I think because of the respect and the loyalty, everybody wants you to be that way. Right? Because they want to come there and they want to have fun and they want it to be safe because they know what happens if it isn't. It's shut down.
Right.
And then we lose it all.
And we've been missing it. Right.
We miss it so
So
much.
so
Yes.
I gotta ask.
That's right.
So what we
Next
doing?
question.
What we doing this summer?
So the permit is in.
Yes.
The permit is in. The permit has got approved.
Yes.
Now it's just waiting to find out what kind of protocol is going to be in place.
And like
And
crowd size.
right.
And yeah.
So the answer is not no. The answer is yes. It's just not trying to figure out how and when and things like that nature. So the tournament looked like it's going to be on this summer.
I'm excited.
I am so excited.
You know we're in there like swim.
Oh my gosh.
And I want to go back to what you said about you feeling comfortable, right? So for me as the tournament director and kind of the overseer, if our team, right, because we're a team, are not comfortable with each other and how we deal with each other, then that's going to have you feeling a certain type of way as you move around. So for me to have you let your guards down and know that you're amongst family, because when you come there, like even for videographers, they put their bags down at the table, knock on wood, or put in a container or whatever, and you feel like, you know what, I'm good. And that's my job to make sure that when you're coming, whether you're shooting or whether you're doing video or you're doing an interview, to make sure you're comfortable. As long as you don't, you understand the rules of who we are and what we're doing, you know. So I'm happy you said that because it's a lot of people that feel that same way.
And it's huge. And I not only was it you, because it's always your face when I walk through security, and it was always Kenny there managing everything. So you're the first person that greets me, but then I got to know every single security guard. I got to know everybody behind the table. I got to know all the family members. I mean, throughout the vendors who I adore and who are like, it's very hot. You haven't had water. Where's your water? Here, take this water. Taking care of me. I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, literally.
It's the atmosphere. It's the atmosphere that you want.
And
it's the family atmosphere.
Everything.
Your
It's
team,
love.
Because your team is so well, like, put together, right? And they look out for each other,
Right.
and they look out for everybody that's there, and you're looking out for them.
Right.
It makes so. For example, if I leave my seat and I come back and somebody's in my seat, other people will be like, "Well, he was sitting there." But they'll say, "How can we make it work for all of us?" Right. And that's what I'm on. Right. How can we make it work for all of us? I don't want any static, man. I came here for the same reason you came here, to show love and to catch a good show. Let's make it work. And I feel that way. I'll sit there and I'll be in the media section, which is sort of like VIP section, and the guys behind me are banging on the gate, talking to me. We're talking. It doesn't matter where I'm sitting. We're all a part of this.
We're still inside the game and enjoying.
There's no real separation, and typically in our society, everything's about separation and status. There's no status. There's no separation. It's all love.
Right. We're all in this together. We're all in this space together, and as long as we can continue to work like that and live like that amongst each other, I think we'll be fine.
Yes, indeed.
And I say this respectfully, right? When we first started it a few years ago, me being from the community, right? Black man being from a predominantly Hispanic community.
Right.
The black people couldn't go over there, Hispanic people couldn't go over here, because it's different situations. Like, where you want me to go? I live here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where you want me to go? I should be able to do whatever I choose to do. Of course, as the tournament went on and everybody started working and living amongst each other, it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, it is, man.
The park is the place where you should come and everybody should be able to network and find love and be comfortable and like, I'm home. So even today, I was talking to the guys. It's hard for me to go in the community sometimes because it's hours.
Yeah, I know. I've been there. I've seen it.
You stand there and you start talking and you realize it's been an hour and a half. Like, oh, yeah, I'm going.
Yeah.
And then you walk 2 steps and somebody else.
Another person.
But it's good to see that the community has come together and they have really accepted the tournament. And now that we had kind of a year off, right? People are thirsty. People are thirsty just to get back into that space. And look, we don't know what it's gonna look like, but that like we outside.
Yeah.
Like today was a beautiful day. I went by the park and the park is packed. It's packed.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's today? March 11th, 12th?
Yep.
Is it 11th? Yeah.
It's the 11th.
It's packed.
I love it.
So imagine in a couple of more months.
Listen.
I also,
sorry,
one other really quick thing. I want to shout out just like Cha-Ching on the mic.
It's my man.
He brings it.
It's my man.
I want to shout out Zookeeper.
My guy.
There is nothing like Friday night at Dyckman.
Right.
All of the photographers and videographers.
Yes.
I want to shout out a huge shout out to Naya. She's
Naya.
done an amazing job in the social media, growing the social media.
Yep. Miss B.
And Miss B. Oh my goodness, Miss B.
Miguel.
So much love. Miguel. Love Miguel.
Miguel is the silent person that you guys don't know that we talk about everything. He's the one that you can't put that matchup together.
Yeah.
Can't.
Nice.
On a Wednesday night, Friday night, nah, you can't do that.
Nice.
Isaiah, so it's so it's hard, right, for myself because I sit in the seat, Machina. It's so many intricate parts that make Dyckman what it is, but. Okay, people say Ken Stevens, but it's not. It's a team of us. Yeah. My sister, my mother.
Of course.
The family.
I got my son, my daughter.
Yeah.
Even on Saturday mornings and Sunday
it's
mornings
beautiful.
when you're working with the youth,
with all the kids.
you walk in there. I know we brought our kids in there, and the first people you see are family members.
Yeah,
and it's like this really is a family affair.
Right.
So. I'm sorry. Before we go, because we're running low on time.
Oh, sorry about that.
No,
don't be
it
sorry. Goes so fast.
Don't be sorry.
It goes so
it's just
fast.
never enough time when you're really enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
I want to know, because you're such an intelligent and consummate businessman, if I'm a person getting ready to start my own business, give me one piece of advice that can carry me through, please.
There's no hours. There's no hours. You got to have in your mind there's no hours. If you are looking to be your own boss, you can't feel like, oh, it's 11 o'clock, I'm going to bed. It don't work like that. Because there's meetings and deadlines and things that has to be on the desk tomorrow morning that you have to look over again and look over again. Like, you look up and it's 3 in the morning. And I'm not saying that's the narrative, but you have to work for what you want. You have to really put the time in to get it to where you want it to be. Like, my team will tell you that you get an email from me, like a text, like 5 in the morning. I don't mean answer it. that means that's the time I was working on it.
Right,
You know,
right,
and at the time I was, you know.
So I want you to understand, as always,
Yeah.
I'm listening. I'm always listening to you. You know, you're my big bro.
Appreciate
we go
that.
way, way back. And family, we genuinely appreciate having you here.
So
Pleasure
much
having,
love.
man.
So much love
from
for
the
you.
heart, from the heart. Just taking time out and speaking those words, and it's the energy you bring.
Oh, thanks, man.
And
Thanks.
I want America to know how much we appreciate and we love Ken Stevens.
I appreciate New York, and I appreciate the platform.
Yes,
like
indeed.
everything that we've done is built. Nothing has been, here, this is yours, you know. From us having a Jared Leak or Brandon Adams and all these other people that's behind scenes that people just don't know about. Hours and hours and hours.
I know.
If you want to keep up with Ken Stevens, I am Ken Stevens on Instagram.
And Dyckman
Dyckman
Basketball.
Basketball, Dyckman Youth Basketball.
Official, Dyckman,
And I think
Bulldogs.
There you go.
Kenny is probably the walking, living example of love in motion. When you put that love out, it really does come back to you. And I think you really embody that.
Thank you.
I am so honored to know you and be in your presence. And yeah, you know, family. It's family. I always say Dyckman forever, right? Dyckman forever.
Yes.
So
with the Dyckman t-shirt, I got to say that. I don't know if they know that now.
That's right.
And I got gifts for y'all.
Oh, thank you so much.
you.
Yeah.
So we usually always end every show on a quote, and based on what happened with Myers Leonard and everything else, I just kind of jotted some things down and shared it with Lauren. So basically, this is where I landed. Canceling someone doesn't help them or us grow. Accountability, vulnerability, empathy, and difficult conversations promote growth and change. I think we might get more accomplished if we approach initial mistakes as opportunities to learn, educate, and grow instead of jumping to finger pointing, humiliation, and canceling.
That was beautiful.
Beautiful. That was nice.
You wrote that yourself? That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if that's a sincere.
No. That was very sincere.
Okay.
That was beautiful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that
wanna
because
say-
I'm not used to sincerity and compliments from you.
Just gonna go ahead
So
and go on.
thank
I want to
you.
say thank you to Ken Stevens one more time.
Thank you
so
guys.
much.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you to our listeners for joining us for another wonderful show of Beyond the Journal. How was that?
That's it.
It's a wrap.